Assalamu alaikum. Today we will start with part A of our lesson algebraic expressions. Objectives: at the end of this video you will be able to recognize that the denominator of an algebraic fraction must be different than 0. Reduce several algebraic fractions to a common denominator. Materials: please prepare a paper, a pencil, a calculator and your textbook. Algebraic fractions. What do we mean by algebraic fractions? Polynomials are algebraic expressions with natural exponents. They have no variable in the denominators. On the other hand, some algebraic expressions could be written with the variables in their denominators. They are called algebraic expressions in the fractional form. An example is x squared plus 3 over x minus 1. Here we have a polynomial in the numerator and a polynomial in the denominator. This is called algebraic fraction with x is different from 1. An example, negative 2 over 3y with y is different from 0. X over 2, 2x cubed over x squared minus 1 with x different from 1 and x different from negative 1. Remark, x squared plus 6x minus 1 is an algebraic fraction also, where the denominator is equal to 1. Condition for performing operations on algebraic fractions. To perform operations on algebraic fractions, the denominator must be different than 0. Otherwise, the algebraic fraction is not defined. So, the first and the very important condition you must know that when you deal with an algebraic fraction, the denominator must always be different than 0. Given the algebraic fraction x over x minus 1, here the denominator is x minus 1. If we replace x by 1, the denominator becomes 0 and the fraction has no value for x equal 1. So we say that when x equal 1, the fraction is undefined. For x different from 1, if we choose any value of x different than 1, the denominator will be different than 0. And we can evaluate the fraction, so we say that the fraction is defined for x different than 1. Examples: x minus 1 over x. Here the denominator is x, then the fraction is defined if x different from 0. Here the denominator is x minus 3. The fraction is defined when the denominator is different from 0. So if x minus 3 different from 0, so we take the negative 3 to the right side to get x different from 3, same as we deal with equations. 3x minus 2 over x squared minus 4x plus 4. Here, before we start with studying the values of the denominator, we must make sure that the denominator is written in factorized form. How to factorize this denominator? We have a trinomial with one negative sign, so we factorize it using second remarkable identity. Now, the new form of the algebraic fraction is 3x minus 2 over x minus 2 squared. This fraction is defined if x minus 2 squared different from 0, so when x minus 2 different from 0, then x different from 2. X plus 6 over x squared plus 1. Please pay attention to number 4. Here, x squared plus 1, there is no value of x. We replace it to get 0. So we say that this fraction is defined for every value of x. Why? Since x squared plus 1 is strictly positive for every value of x. Application: determine the values of x for which each of the following algebraic fractions is defined. Please pause the video and try to do it by yourself. Solution 1. 5x squared plus 1 over 2x minus 5. The denominator is 2x minus 5. So it is defined if 2x minus 5 different from 0. So 2x is different from 5, x different from 5 over 2. 2x plus 6 over x squared minus 9. As we said before studying the values of x, we must factorize the denominator. Here we have a binomial difference of square, so we factorize by using third remarkable identity to get x plus 3 times x minus 3. Here, the fraction is defined for x plus 3 times x minus 3 different from 0. So, x plus 3 is different from 0 and x minus 3 is different from 0. Whenever you have a product in the denominator, the two factors that are multiplied, each one must be different from 0. So we put AND between the two factors. X plus 3 different from 0 means that x different from minus 3 and x different from 3. Simplification of algebraic fractions. An algebraic fraction can be simplified for all values of x for which it is defined. So, before we simplify, we must study the values of x for which the fraction is defined. Steps to simplify an algebraic fraction. Factorize its terms first. Its numerator and denominator should be written in factorized form. 2. Write the values of x for which it is defined. 3. Simplify by using the common factor. Example: 2x plus 7 times x plus 1 over x squared plus 2x plus 1. First of all, the numerator here is already factorized, but the denominator is not. We will factorize it by using the first remarkable identity, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, to get x plus 1 squared. Second, we will study the values of x for which it is defined. For x plus 1 squared different from 0, so x plus 1 different from 0 and x different from negative 1. Now, the common factor here is x plus 1, since it is in the numerator and in the denominator at the same time. The final answer, the simplified form, is 2x plus 7 over x plus 1. Simplification of algebraic fractions application. Determine the value of x for which each of the following algebraic fractions is defined, then simplify. Please pause the video and try it by yourself. Solution 1. We have x squared minus 49 in the numerator over x minus 7 times x plus 3 in the denominator. First of all, since the denominator is already factorized, we can study the values of x for which the fraction is defined. It is defined if x minus 7 times x plus 3 is different from 0. So x minus 7 is different from 0 and x plus 3 is also different from 0, x different from 7 and x different from negative 3. Before we simplify, we must factorize the numerator, which is a binomial with difference of squares, so we may apply third remarkable identity a squared minus b squared, where a is x and b squared is 49, so b equal 7, to get x minus 7 times x plus 7 over x minus 7 times x plus 3. Here, x minus 7 is the common factor of numerator and denominator, so we will eliminate x minus 7 to get x plus 7 over x plus 3, the simplified form. 2. We have 2x plus 1 over 4x squared minus 1. As we see, the denominator is not written in factorized form. Before studying the values of x for which the fraction is defined, we must factorize the denominator. Here we have a binomial with difference of squares, so we will apply third remarkable identity where 4x squared is a squared, so a is 2x, and 1 is b squared, so b equal 1. We will get 2x plus 1 over 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1, which is defined if 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1 is different from 0, 2x plus 1 is different from 0, and 2x minus 1 is different from 0. So 2x is different from minus 1 and 2x is different from 1. Then x is different from minus 1 over 2 and x is different from 1 over 2. Then we should simplify. The common factor is 2x plus 1, so we eliminate 2x plus 1 from denominator and the numerator to get 1 over 2x minus 1, which is the simplified form. Assignment: please review from the textbook the following page. Homework: please do the following homework. Summary: please read this summary carefully and take notes on your copybook. Thank you very much.